This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Suspects arrested in the case of an illegal firearm being found early this morning. Authorities say officers were on routine patrol on Tonic William Starling Highway when they spotted a silver Nissan Maxima with a group of males acting suspiciously. The officers stopped the car, searched it, and found a 9mm pistol with 8 rounds of ammunition. The 3 men were taken into custody. It's expected that they'll be formally charged.
The authority will not be coerced, bullied, or strong-armed the granting an air operator certificate unless and until it is satisfied that the applicant possesses the necessary capabilities operational, technical, and financial to perform the functions granted by the certificate. The claim that the authority somehow shut Sky Bahamas down and prevented Sky Bahamas from continuing its operation is unfounded. The regulations require an applicant to submit a request for renewal at least 30 days prior to the expiration of that certificate. That application was received in the office of the Safety Oversight Department on the 21st of June, just 9 days prior to the expiration of the certificate. Notwithstanding the lateness of the application and being desirous of facilitating, as I said, activities associated with fair commerce, we commenced work on the renewal for Sky Bahamas. There was a matter involving requirement management personnel that has to be addressed. There is a matter involving the currency of a pilot and a system that was intended to track the continued currency of that pilot that did not function the way it should have functioned. And as a result, in our minds, it suggested that this applicant did not possess the necessary systems, safety systems, to satisfy the requirement.
That's Bahamas Civil Aviation Authority Director General Captain Charles Benaby on the Sky Bahamas debacle. This in the wake of the BCAA's decision to ground the small airline, citing that it does not hold a current air operator certificate. That aside, Captain Benaby says they've sought to work with the airline's management team.
We have some issues right now that involves, and I did not want to do it here, but I will say it anyway, that involves sort of their documentation that we are working with them to, or we are willing to work with them to convince. There is one particular requirement, and that is, as it relates to the organization, required management personnel. That still remains open. That needs to be addressed.
Captain Benaby holding that Sky Bahamas is not being singled out, and it's by no means an act of sabotage and no political consideration on the part of the authority as expressed by the airline CEO, Captain Randy Butler. Rather, that the issuance and renewal of an air operator certificate is a process. The authority must be satisfied that the airline possesses the capabilities to exercise the privileges of the AOC. Sky Bahamas, he said, was told to correct 9 anomalies in a reasonable amount of time. Captain Benaby says that Sky Bahamas was able to address some of the issues, but there are still some remaining issues if Sky Bahamas is to get an AOC. Captain Benaby says the authority is willing to work with the airline and doesn't want to see it, or any other operator for that matter, out of business. Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Senator Fred Mitchell forewarning the government not to pop the champagne just yet, despite a drop in the jobless rate. Preliminary results of the most recent labor force survey show the unemployment rate dropping from 10.7 to 9.5%. Mr. Mitchell, in a release, pointing out that while those who are working are no doubt grateful, the government has to explain why the misery index is so high throughout the country. Research shows youth unemployment is still high and that women continue to suffer an employment disadvantage. Mr. Mitchell says the FNM has to thank its lucky stars for Bahama, or it would have no positive news to report at all. It is clear this PLP-sponsored project, he said, is the reason there is some growth in employment. Well, as indicated, the most recent labor survey shows women are more likely than men to be unemployed. Senior statistician Cipriana Winters revealing that the jobless rate for women dropped to 9.9% in May compared to 9.2% for women between the ages 15 and 24, and core-aged women ages 25 to 54 are more likely to be unemployed than their male counterparts.
And according to the Caribbean Development Bank report, youth unemployment in the Caribbean is among the highest in the world, with the unemployment rate for those aged 15 to 24 reaching 42.7%. Similar patterns persist in the Bahamas, as youth unemployment for women was highest recorded in all age groups. The unemployment rate for young women reached 20.7% compared with 19.5% for young men, 20% for both sexes.
Mrs. Winters added that there's a slight difference amongst unemployed people that have completed secondary school. That's 62.5% for males and 67.2% in the case of females. However, she says a larger percentage of unemployed males have not completed high school. That's 16.8% for males compared to the 9.8% for females. Conversely, she says a larger portion of unemployed females, that's 11.2%, than males at 5.2%, completed university. A check on sports is up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.